Hello, and welcome to the Circuit Breakers interview series. I'm your host, Steve Semler, and today I'm joined by Matthias Kittok, who is the president at Foresight MSP. Matthias, thank you so much for joining us. Would you like to kick us off with a brief background as to who you are and what you do?
Yeah, you already said my name, but yeah, Foresight MSP is a managed service provider here in the Twin Cities of Minnesota. And we work with clients of various sizes, but one of the strong verticals we work in is nonprofits as well as financial sector. So, yeah, I'm I have a corporate IT background. Did everything from help desk to systems engineering to now owner of a IT services company. So
Well, that's a big soup to nut sort of thing with an MSP and all the things that you're providing to the clients. What inspired you to start your own business in this field?
so actually, I'm the second owner of the business, and the business was started in 1999. So we're coming up on our 24th year here. Um, and in 2017, I joined the company. I was a little bit burnt out with the corporate IT sector and being told a whole lot of, well, that's not your responsibility. Um, and uh, and looking for something different. I got connected with the now former owner. His name was Mark, um, and uh, he was looking towards retirement, and we developed a 5-year transition plan. Over that course of time, I decided, yeah, this is something that I want to continue with, and the start of 2023, I was 100% owner.
Nice.
So
So it's
quite
almost
quite a
like a
ride.
mission there. Yeah.
Um, but to more directly answer your question, I always wanted to go into business myself. I struggled for a while figuring out what field I wanted to be in, and during that time, I was doing IT work, and so this seemed like a nice natural fit. Um, it's definitely something new every day. I enjoy that about the sector. It's also one of the downsides of the sector is it's new every day, with cyber threats and random uh, Microsoft update issues or what have you, but then trying to advise clients on, hey, what's your overall strategy here? What is your goals or what are your goals in business, and how does technology align with that or empower that?
Yeah. To what extent are you working with clients who see IT as kind of a core resource for them versus, just something we have to pay for to do business?
That's a good question. I find that there is a certain tipping point that at some point a business owner is going to come to that realization if they haven't already. I find that the younger generation it's just kind of yeah, we need IT, right? Um, but that comes from being digital natives and growing up with it or around it all the time. Uh, I But that being said, a person who's been in business a while or has really struggled with how they're managing their IT, whether it's they've had employees that managed it or volunteers in the case of nonprofits.
Mm,
Um, it can easily create chaos, and anyone that's experienced absolute chaos on the technical end can really appreciate a stable environment. So,
yeah, that's one of the things that are kind of core, especially on the nonprofit side.
mhm.
Um, we're trying to do so much with limited resources, focus on the mission, and also be able to handle all of the back offices. So an MSP absolutely makes sense. It will help give
Yeah,
that help.
and often they can't afford to hire someone internally, and so it provides a bit of a risk mitigation as well as a um, a scalable solution for them, depending on the organization.
Yeah. What are some of the common misconceptions that people might have that you've talked to about running a business in the tech sector? And how do you address those?
I think the most common misconception is that you can continue to be just a technical guy and run a stable business. That may seem like a no-brainer to some people and may not, to others. A lot of people go, well, I can do what I'm doing in a day job and just do that a few different times with different clients, and that's going to be good enough. You got to learn some real skills to be a small business owner, and wear all of the hats. From sales and marketing to bookkeeping. Understanding what's a profit and loss statement. And what's the difference between that and a balance sheet. Like I do not come from a business owner background myself, or a finance background. So that was a weak point and something that I struggled with initially.
Yeah, it's something that I end up helping a lot of my technical professional and tech leader clients understand is you got into it because you love the technology. You can still do a lot of the stuff, and it's going to look a little bit different as you move up, and you're going to add on some
Yep.
skills, maybe let go of doing some things that you did before. Folks like you who've recognized that and have made the shift are in so much better place to be able to run a successful business than folks who are clinging just to the technical side. That relates to one question I like to ask is, because many tech leaders love the technology, but they also have to kind of put up with the frustrations of the people side or the business side, takes away from time they could be spending on solutions. How do you handle that challenge?
Yeah, that's a good question. Uh, part of how I handle that challenge, and this probably ties into some other questions you have later, but I'm part of a peer group of other business owners that are in the um, same industry, other managed service providers across the country, and that's been an invaluable resource because you know if one of us is struggling with something, we can provide advice if we've been there, or what
Mhm.
are you using for this, or um, you know, uh, or we all need something because of a new threat or whatever. Uh, we stumble down the learning curve together. Um, Often one of us will volunteer to be a guinea pig, and the rest will follow if need be. So, I think having peers to bounce ideas off of is key in staying current. Uh, I mean, certainly you can follow news or whatever, but uh, not depending on vendors to educate you is a big piece too.
Yeah, that kind of that masterminds concept of the business owners, especially, and it's especially good that you've gotten together with folks in the same industry too. Some groups are more like one from each industry sort of thing, and others are more focused for the technical purposes. It does seem to help to have that support group of folks who understand what you're doing. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, and I mean, I owe them for not just from the technical end, but also teaching me how to read P&L statements and stuff like that. Uh, if they've been there, done that, it's always helpful to find a group.
So, um, so as business is constantly changing, like you said, it's something new every day. How do you stay adaptable and open to change? How do you, like I was saying, break out of the circuit of the routine and stay focused on innovation and keeping up or ahead?
Severe ADHD. No, no, I'm just kidding. In all seriousness, it's easy to get distracted by some of that. And I often find myself having to pull myself back into the responsibilities of what I have to do or what I've already committed to do. That I find is fairly common in our industry, or like the subset of our industry, and IT in general seems to attract people that are a little bit more neurodivergent, to use the more proper term. But I didn't realize how much that affected me until I became a business owner. So again,
Shifting
hats.
the focus. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, so sometimes I am better at it than other times. I don't have a magic bullet in terms of that, but I would say that find an area that you like to stay current on, but if you have resources, meaning employees, don't be afraid to assign them tasks to look into certain products, because you can only do so much, and then the further you get away from being in the day-to-day, the less um, the less efficient your decision is going to be for the whole of the business.
Yeah. Relying on the community of your experts internally and externally as well, it sounds like.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Solid strategy, absolutely. So what's coming up next for Foresight and for you over the next year?
Well, aside from continuing to try to grow so that I can take some hats off, you know, uh, I one of the things I'm really excited about is we're in the early stages of launching what we call a Foresight Feeds program. And this is a bit different, but we are partnering with a nonprofit organization to provide meals to refugees in crisis uh, on the other side of the world. And our business is committed to providing 91,000 meals. Sounds like a big number, but yeah. So there's more to come on that, but we're really excited about that.
Foresight Feed.
Yeah, Foresight Feeds is the tentative name at this point, but we'll just call it.
Yeah. All right. Well, let me wrap with kind of some tips that you found. So what are some advice would you offer for aspiring entrepreneurs, folks in the tech sector who are just starting out or facing challenges in their business?
Find either a mentor or a group of peers that is, you don't know what you don't know. And also don't be afraid to ask for help. Some industries are a little bit more open than others as far as working. Even I've talked to competitors that have helped me, in terms of, you could consider my peer group technically competitors, but we don't work in the same geographic. That's ideal scenario, but even talking to someone that is much further down the road than you in the same industry can be immensely helpful. And in general, most people are willing to talk about what they do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, awesome. Thank you. And especially in the MSP side of things, and even in cybersecurity, there's still so much unserved market.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of businesses are still struggling on their own. And on the security front, uh, there aren't enough people to do all the work that needs to be done.
There isn't. So yeah, if you're considering a job in cybersecurity, then do it because we need it.
Absolutely. Well, thank you very much for your time today, Matthias. Great meeting you, finding out about Foresight and about your entrepreneurial journey. Appreciate it greatly. Thank you. And
Thanks
to
for having
those
me.
watching, when you're faced with choices about your business and challenges, consider these tips that Matthias has offered, and feel free to reach out to me for coaching and training support. As always, I'm Steve Semler at FocalPoint Business Coaching, helping techies be great leaders. Look forward to seeing you in our next episode. Thanks.